What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to my parents' home. That's where we're at. That's where we're completing this project. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking this front lawn and we're going to be doing a heavy overseeding on it. My parents have been so good to me, blessed me with the world, have supported me in all my endeavors. And this fall, since I can't do anything to my lawn because of other projects I got going on, I want to bless them with some new cultivars of grass in their lawn. This turf stands approximately 2,500 square feet, and I want to be very clear, as you can see, there's still a lot of grass here. So this is a heavy overseeding project, and that's the way I like to do things, if at all possible. Today is Friday, September 3rd, 4th. We're coming up on the first weekend of September, so perfect time in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania region to start doing our overseedings and things of that nature. So let's take a walk around the lawn. I'll show you what we're working with here, and then we're gonna get to it. So again, approximately 2,500 square feet of turf stand here, and our biggest competitor during all of this is going to be this massive oak tree. That's why we need to come in here and do some of the things we need to do to this stand. But as you can see, overall, it is not a bad stand of turf. This could absolutely be pushed and it would look great. You know, since the temperatures have cooled off and we've gotten copious amounts of rain, I have no doubt that with the appropriate program, I could push this lawn and it would look good. However, because of this large tree, I want to put better cultivars of turf designed for this specific scenario, and we'll talk about the seed when we get to it. This is going to be in chronological order, so you see every step, every action taken, and as we go through things, I will explain what we're doing. But as we come across the stand here, and it's because of the way the sun is, it's difficult and splotchy looking. We're going to include this little side area here, and then everything you see in the main part of the stand, and then on the other side of the sidewalk there. If we get down just in a random general spot in the lawn, what we'll see is that there is not that, it's very thin, and you got a lot of dieback from summer stress, heat, drought, and just a number of things that work against us in the summer months when working with a cool season lawn. This stand is cut by a commercial company, the company that I worked for this summer, Grassy Greens. They're actually going to be assisting me with a part of this project tomorrow morning because it's something that I don't have the time or access to the equipment. It wasn't something I was able to get accomplished myself. So anyway, let's take a look at the types of things we're going to be looking, the deficiencies that we're going to be looking to fix in the stand with this overseeding project. Some storm water does run occasionally, and it gets a lot of shade from the house. There is a good bit of bare soil, so we're going to clean that up. As we move to the sidewalk, you'll see the same thing running both lengths of the sidewalk. So we're going to be focusing on that area as well. And it runs all the way down to the driveway. And then finally in this area right here, just thin, drought stress. It's coming back real nice. What we're going to be looking to take care of today is we're going to get all of this garbage out of the lawn and prepare it for what's going to come tomorrow and then Sunday in preparation for putting down the seed. So whenever you're doing any kind of seeding job, there's a lot of important steps to take, and if some of those steps are neglected or they're not well taken care of, it's going to affect the outcome of your overall project. In my opinion, the most important thing you can do in any seeding project, well, I'll probably say this about everything I do, but seed to soil contact is very important. When you look at the list of things you need to take care of and handle, that's one of the first things, because watering, extremely important. We got to keep that seed moist until it germinates. One thing you'll notice is this is a very busy road, so you're going to have to we're gonna have to work together to just ignore the vehicle traffic, and I'll try to edit around as much as I can. What were we talking about? Oh yes, seed to soil contact. That is, in my opinion, if you don't get that right, it doesn't matter how much you water, it doesn't matter how much you give the seed the right nutrients. If it doesn't have a good soil contact, it's not going to germinate in the first place. So the first steps we're going to take today to ensure, and here comes a big giant garbage truck. So our main focus today is going to be setting ourselves up to get the best seed to soil contact possible. And in an old turf stand like this, it's never really been dethatched. It's been aerated a couple times, but that means that through the course of many summers and many growing seasons, there's been a lot of opportunity for thatch buildup and just dead, depleted grass in the stand because of things like heat and drought and just natural die back in the growth habits of the plant. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, a lot of folks rent dethatching machines. When I work for a commercial company, we own those machines, and in some of the projects I've done, it makes it really, really easy. You can rent these machines because of the time crunches, and because I don't have a pickup truck available to me and I'm not working for a commercial company. We're opting this year not to do dethatching with a machine, so we're going to do it by hand. This is the stuff that I'm talking about that we want to get rid of in the turf stand, including this stick. When a stick falls from a massive tree like this, if it's not collected or you miss it, and they do a good job of staying on top of the sticks and debris that falls from the tree, these have a tendency to work their way during the growing season as the turf grows up into the stand. It's obviously not conducive to the turf because it's not going to grow through a stick, but it also creates an unpleasurable mowing experience and kind of a bumpy experience, and that leads to an uneven cut. It doesn't look as good as it could. Either way, I did a small piece of the whole front stand that we're going to be doing today, and this is what I got. And what you can find when you look into this is that in addition to the dead and half decayed grass material, you find some moss. Also kind of an issue when you're talking about a heavily shaded area with a large tree in a turf stand. I'm not concerned about the moss. What we're going to do today is going to get up a lot of that, and then we can manage that next spring as we need to. But this is what we're going after today. As you can see, there is some green grass in it, but not a lot. Most of this is like half dead and half decayed matter that just, as I said, it just comes from the natural growth process of the stand, summer drought, just the way things work. You're going to get a buildup of this over time. The problem with this is, as we'll see later in the video, is that this stuff tends to go down into the canopy and create a layer. And I've looked, and this is not, we're not talking about thatch. This is not thatch. This is a different thing. This lawn does not have a thatch problem because I have it on a program where it's not really an issue. The company that cuts this bags, so you don't have a thatch problem here. This is what we're going after. And we need to remove this material so that when we do put out the seed goes all the way down to be in contact with the soil. When you leave this decaying matter, a seed, when you go and broadcast spread seed, it's going to have to work its way down through all this to get to the soil. Can you do it that way? Yes. Will it work? Yes. But we want to set ourselves up for success as much as possible. Now, if you're paying attention to me, you heard me say we're not renting a machine. We're going to be doing it with this old school manual style. I'm sure if you're into lawn care, you've seen it. This is a Groundskeeper 2 rake. It is a manual dethatching rake, the best in the industry. In my opinion, it's an amazing tool. It's got spring-loaded tines that are replaceable. It's worth every penny, and what it gets up, as you'll see, is quite amazing. The difference between that and a standard rake that we'll be using to clean up after we make big piles of mess, this is not aggressive enough to get down into the canopy and pull up all that dead material, the decaying material. So this is going to be a pretty bare bones job here. No, I don't want to say no mechanical equipment because we're using a little bit tomorrow. This is all going to be manual labor, on the cheap, not a lot of money spent. With the right hand tools, which have a lot of different applications, you can be extremely successful. So that's enough jibber jabbing. Let me show you how this thing works real quick, and then we got to get to it, because again, is it a lot of work? Yeah, it's 2,500 square feet with this. It's gonna be, my shoulders are gonna be feeling it by the end of today. My dad's gonna come out and he's gonna be cleaning up behind me so we can just keep on trucking. But the satisfaction when you're finished with this, man, there's just something about manual labor that really is satisfying when you get the job done. Okay, so we're up here in a part of the turf stand that you can see clearly has a lot of dormant and decaying matter. And this rake is what's going to assist us the same way you would with a Sunjo dethatcher or a commercial piece that you would rent from Home Depot or a commercial rental. You can get amazing results by doing it manually. So let's take a look here what we did. There's all the decaying matter that we just pulled out of that small section. And you can see the soil now that we have removed everything here. You can see right here where nothing's been removed. This is all going to stop your seed from making its way to the soil level. And what I just did with my fingers is what we're doing on a larger level throughout the stand. And then you can see the soils there. You can see the good grass is still well intact, but now we have access to the soil level that we didn't have when that was all there. And as you can see, it works on moss too. You can see where we had a lot of moss, and then it was easily removed with that rake. That thing is awesome. But that's enough jabbering. It's time to get on with this job. What's up, y'all? It's Craig, and I'm coming to you from the studio. Hey, as I was building this video out, I wanted to leave this clip in, and it's certainly not for fluff or filler. This video is long enough as it is, but I want to include this unedited clip of me using the rake. This is a 30-second clip with no jump cuts. It's not sped up or anything like that. And the reason I want to include it is to just show you in 30 seconds roughly how much you can get done with this rake. Alright, so we just finished that small section right there. It took, what, maybe 20 minutes? Yeah. 20 minutes, only hand tools, me pulling everything up with the groundskeeper, and my dad coming behind me with a regular leaf rake to pick up and bag everything. Sorry, the neighbor's cutting the grass. Definitely not as easy as using a commercial or a homeowner grade piece of equipment, but it is way cheaper. And I never said it was going to be easier, I just said it was going to be cheaper. One of the benefits to using a hand rake versus a machine is hills. The machines kind of, I mean, can it be done? Yeah, absolutely. They tend to kind of struggle on any kind of hill. Any kind of grade is very easy to do. So we're gonna continue with this grade here and then get all the hard stuff out of the way, and then we'll just be left with the flat part of the lawn. So one of the other things I wanted to mention from the studio as I'm looking back and editing all this footage from this video and then the ones that are to come, taking us through the whole project, is just the blessing to be able to do this with my dad. If you're a parent, this is a great thing. Lawn care is a great thing to do with your children, and if you're like me, it's been a great thing to do alongside my dad. One thing I want to mention though, as you see where he's picking up behind me, is that when we were doing this, I would go in a 2-foot section across the lawn, and then as he's picking that up, I would come back and hit that same spot from the other direction. So with each pass, you're getting that rake to go in both directions, making for a really, really thorough raking from 2 different directions. So a little over 2 hours to go through the roughly 2,200 square feet of stand in this front yard here. I was going to do this side over here, but I'm going to use that as kind of a control to see, like, you know, just testing things out. It is a workout. 2,000, I would not want to do any more than this with that rake. But now that we're done, it feels good. I'm happy I did it. So I'll take you around real quick and look at it. There's traffic everywhere. It's that time of day. So you can see the darkness pulled away all the dead material, and now what we're left with is soil. See that? Nice. And the good turf still remains. We've done that throughout. You can see where it's thinner, and that's the reason for this overseeding, is because of the spots where you see more soil, especially along this edge right here. We're gonna have to build that back in. But that Groundskeeper 2 rake will definitely do the work. My shoulders feel like they're gonna pop off, but we got it done. The last thing we're gonna do, and this is kind of an afterthought, so I'm gonna go get a mower from my house, me and my dad, and we're gonna put it in the trunk of my car. And I'm gonna take this turf down a little bit, because you can see kind of growing up now that we're getting all this rain and cool temperatures. So I'm gonna go get my spare mower and I'm gonna knock this way down, because you do not want your new seedlings to compete with this existing turf. Okay, so I gotta do this rapid fire because I gotta go home, get a shower, make myself presentable, and I have a meeting to be at in a little bit. So day one, what do? We went around manually raked out all the negative stuff in the lawn. I did that. My dad was behind me picking up everything as we went. That was a bit of a ball buster, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't want to, this is a little over 2,000 square foot. I wouldn't want to do it any more than that. I think this is even too much. Rent a machine if you can. So once that was all done, I decided I wanted to go get my spare mower from my house. So we went and did that. And then I pretty much just, sorry for the cord there, pretty much scalped it down to nothing. And some people say you don't need to do this. I'm not saying you do. You definitely want to cut your turf down low before you seed, so the seed can make its way down to the soil layer. Me personally, I had a lot of success with like really scalping it. Look, this is cool season turf. Maybe not exactly a beginner tactic, but I thought it needed done. And the nice thing about it being real low, and I dropped the mower deck as low as it would possibly go, is it shows you, it really gives you a good idea of where you're low, where you're high. Where you see dark, that's where we're high. Where you see green, that's where it's low. This isn't gonna get real mode, so I'm not too super crazy about it being super level. I just want it to be flat, not bumpy. So anyway, that's what we did today. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. Steve from Grassy Greens that I used to work for, I'm meeting him here early in the morning. He's gonna plug up the lawn for me, and then I have a wedding to go to, so there's not gonna be any work being done today. While I'm at that wedding, my dad is gonna wait, and I have 2 tons of soil being delivered to fill in some of the deficient areas, and then whatever's left over, we're just gonna put over the lawn. Now, I hear you saying, why did you spend all that time with that rake if you're just gonna soil the lawn? Well, I don't know how far that 2 tons is gonna get me. We're not doing a complete, that would be too much time, too much money. That's a lot of dirt. I'm only getting 2 tons. You'd probably need 6 to 8 tons to do an inch thick on this 2,200 square feet. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, I gotta go. We'll see you Sunday when we throw the dirt out. Peace.